our next thing together.
Hello, everyone. One of the best things about the pandemic is we get to have these Q&As with our filmmakers, as opposed to those chaotic Q&As with 30 filmmakers on a tiny stage and questions like, how much was your budget? Okay, so, and I'm a control freak, so I get to control everything. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to the DLFF Film Festival 2021 edition. We are here to talk about Clean Cut, a very terrifying short film. They put the die in Die Laughing. And I'll have you introduce yourselves, okay? Dylan, you go first.
Hi, I'm Dylan Amick. I am the writer and director of this piece.
And Nate?
Hey, I'm Nate Betancourt. I played Arch in Clean Cut.
Who did you play?
Arch?
You played Nick. We changed it.
Nick.
Remember?
Oh, sorry, Nick. Nick.
Darn it, Nate.
Formerly known as Arch.
Like,
yeah.
Pre-recording, I told him how confused I was, and then Nate just tries to confuse me further. God. Okay, and Matthew.
I'm Matthew Schott. I played Virgil.
Excellent. So, wait. Okay, Virgil, you're cool. You're cool.
Yeah, I nailed it.
Okay, so the number one. Okay, so viewers, Nate and Matthew are in New York, and Dylan is in LA. So the burning question: whose apartment did you guys shoot in?
We shot it in my apartment back. So we actually are all originally from Virginia. Matt and I went to school together at Virginia Tech. Nate went to school up the road at VCU. We all moved to New York around the same time. Been working. This is, I think, our fourth collaboration together. What we said, guys. Fourth thing we've done together. We shot it at an apartment that I lived in right before I moved to LA this past June.
Got it. Did you move during the pandemic?
Yes, I moved during the pandemic.
Wow, good for you. Welcome to LA.
Love being here.
Yeah. So without giving too much away of the movie, I guess, let me ask you one question. So, like, obviously you guys have in your own minds, whether you shared it with each other or not, like you obviously had an ideas of like what was in the bathroom, what was outside. What was inside was a little bit more clear to me, but I was not able to I clearly say like what was outside. Was there also something you guys were afraid of outside? Or were you trying to keep the inside contained?
Nate, Matthew, do you want to take a stab?
Yeah, I mean, I think my sort of understanding of it was that the malevolent spirits that had kind of inhabited our apartment and all the reflective surfaces, it also sort of that was happening everywhere.
Okay.
So we had to barricade ourselves inside because this was something that was just happening all over the place, and this was the only place we could be safe.
Cool. Yeah, I feel like I kind of got different senses of like if there was another danger outside, if it was the same danger, or after this last time I watched it, I was like, oh, maybe they're trying to keep the outside safe, from the inside. But yeah. So how did this project come about? You said you guys in our pre-interview in the green room that you guys had collaborated on 4 other projects. How did this one come about, Dylan, as the writer?
Just we actually shot this 2 years ago, and just at that point, I think everyone in our friend group was feeling kind of the same way. We were frustrated. We were hitting plateaus. We were hitting walls and not being able to make the kind of things we wanted to make. We were being asked to do the same kind of things over and over again for very low rates. And so I was just like, what can we do? How can we move forward? What's the simplest concept we can do? And I was like, all right, the big cost is locations. So it's lock on the location. We'll write a film for my apartment. And then it's like, great, how do we do a film in the apartment? It's not just 2 guys at the table being like, let's have a weird conversation now and make a bunch of jokes. So it's like, we wanted to go to horror stories. We did that. And then, I think Matt and I have meditated a lot on the idea of like self-image and this kind of thought of like, how can those kind of thoughts in your head turn against you? And so I came up with the idea of just, what if there was a monster in your mirror kind of composed of all these terrible things you say and think about yourself, and then it actually came out to treat you that way. And so it started from that, and then kind of put in a few more things here and there, and it's become clean cut.
You know what's really great about your film? I mean, there's a lot of things really great about it, but when I watched it, like I couldn't tell if it was a pandemic film or not, because interestingly, you know, the pandemic has influenced, you know, impacted all aspects of our lives, including the creative process. And then there were some projects that were clearly pandemic projects, you know, but this one, I mean, it could have gone either way. Like I could have bet like, yeah, these guys just got together and shot this during the pandemic, you know, and or been influenced by the pandemic. So it was interesting to hear that this was, you know, a couple years back, more with your internal pandemic as opposed to the external pandemic. So go ahead.
It's just fascinating to see, you know, like what was originally such like a strange idea, being like, what if you were trapped in your apartment and you couldn't leave, has now become so real to everyone. So, you know,
and also I think it was, you know, the other layer was, you know, what was exactly how the mirror, the demon manifested himself in the mirror. You know, obviously that is something that you'll have to watch.
Certainly.
You'll have to watch, and it's for free, May 28th to May 29th. But, you know, it was, you know, interesting as well, because it speaks to what you were saying about your frustration and just kind of where you were. So Nate, like Virgil totally sold you out at the in this film without giving too much away, right?
That he did, but you know,
worst roommate ever.
I would have probably done the same. I can't really be too hard on him. If it came to that point, no. We're wrecking tapestry. That's enough. We can't.
Yeah. How sad that I like the aspect of fate. I like the beginning because, like I said, I wrestled with the idea: is it outside or inside? And you couldn't really tell from the set. You know, it actually suggested more it was outside. You know, at least to me. And then so you know, it's a short film. It's less than 7 minutes, but you built tension right away from the very, very beginning. The stakes were super, super high. The acting was very, very good. It was very, very believable. And I think it started out with a bang, and it never let off. Did you guys, where did you get the music for this?
Sorry, this is an original score by Erik DeLong. Sorry, had a brain snap there. Erik DeLong.
I thought it was incredible. It was like, it reminded me of other horror scores, yet it was very original, but more importantly, it fit the film so perfectly. So, I mean, I'm not surprised to hear that, but I don't think it was the credit attributed it that way, regardless, but because I was curious. I wanted to find out who the composer was or where the source was, but great job overall. The set direction was great. The special effects were great. The acting was great. How was Crafty on set? I mean, that's the only thing I don't know if it was very good.
We had all those models in the background.
Yeah, it sounds like a fun set. So what's up next for you guys? Or what are you working on now?
All kinds of things. I'll let Nate go first, because I've been talking a lot.
Oh, no, totally fine. I had actually been taking the time during the pandemic, obviously, to like try my hand at writing. I went back on an old neo-noir thing I was writing, and now I'm trying to look at a short film. And kind of something similar to what Dylan mentioned in the beginning. It was like, I asked myself, what can I do feasibly on like the budget environment that I have? And then it's also, okay, if I had my dream budget, what would I do? And that's kind of like conflicted me on some projects, but now I'm just kind of like a happy medium of both. It's like, I'm going to write something. Let's see how it turns out. I'll worry about the budget later. And until like theaters start opening up again, I'm like, I've also been doing a little work with Columbia Med as a standardized patient.
Oh, great.
Which is a great gig. I don't know any doctors in my social circles.
No, but I also think it's not an easy gig. Like there's a skill involved, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So good. I'm glad you're keeping busy. And Matthew, what are you working on?
I actually, so when the pandemic hit, I was on tour for a show that I created called The Saga of the Shining Emblem, which it's kind of an experimental improv show where I bring up an audience member live on stage, and I sort of guide them through this improvised adventure where I narrate and play all the characters that they interact with, and they sort of play the hero of their own fantastical epic. And
wait, what was it? Saga for the what?
I was the Saga of the Shining Emblem.
Got it.
And it's so good.
These guys have seen it
so
a million times. I'm actually, a week from today, I'll be in Pensacola, Florida, performing again for the first time in over a year. I am crazy excited.
Nice.
So that's going to be incredible. And Dylan and I actually have a project that we're going to be shooting a short film out in LA later this year. So that's going to be super exciting.
So Matthew, let me ask you, in your improv show, does the audience member participate? They speak?
Yeah, they're the star. They're the star of the story.
No, because there are those improv shows where they just kind of tell their story, and then the cast does the rest. But so you actually improvise with them.
Yeah, I bring them up on stage and I sort of sit them in a throne, and I'm just there to guide them, but they're in total control of where the story goes, for better or for worse. They're in control.
I'll keep an eye out for it. So hopefully it'll be revived. And Dylan, so you have this project with Matthew, and then so it clearly he's your favorite. So sorry, Nate.
Yeah. So no, Matt wrote a really phenomenal script, and we're super excited to shoot that later this year. I'm in some screenwriting contests for a couple other scripts that I'm doing pretty well and hoping to make it past the first rounds to the finals. And just continuing to make art and try to get our art that we've already made out there as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for you, Dylan, because you've only seen like kind of a version of LA in the industry right now since you moved here.
Oh my God.
So it'll be really great when we fully open up, and I'm really excited for you. And Matthew, I'm glad you're going to be performing, and Nate, I'm glad you're drinking. Hey guys, it was great to meet you guys, and I can tell your collaborative spirit and camaraderie really helped this project, as no doubt it helps all your projects. Any last comments to our DLFF Film Festival audience?
I'm going to say really fast, I'm going to echo what Ray said, that Nate and Matt are just phenomenal in this short. You have to see them. They worked their ass off. I hope I can say ass on this, to be in that short. The shooting time was so crunched, and they just really rose. Jabari, a holder who was the DP, did a phenomenal job. He framed all those shots and just did a beautiful work. Daniel Rivera, who did our color editing and our special effects, just a phenomenal person to work with. So good, so creative, really was the person who shaped that color template. And of course, our producer, Dan Fissmer, was just out of this world in building our team, bringing Erik onto the team, bringing Matt Schwartz, who did our sound mixing and the other sound design. Just all around, this project happened out of my idea because of an incredible team I was so thankful to be a part of.
Yeah, it was clearly top-notch production value, which, is important, but, obviously, it's the full package. But so Dylan, I'm going to edit that. So when you win an Academy Award, you can just play that snippet.
Hopefully, yeah.
It was like perfect.
I'll probably win for this, so it'll all make sense.
Fingers crossed. Okay. Nate and Matthew, continued success. Thank you so much for sharing your work and being part of the DLFF Film Festival. Surprisingly, we want to be this hybrid, but we skew heavily comedy. So it's really great to have like a solid horror, to be a part of it. Hey, thanks so much for taking your time. Everything is so accelerated because it's just a lot of logistics. But thanks for jumping in and hopping in, and we'll get this online, and we're going to promote it May 28th, to May 29th, free online. And we get a probably better viewership online than we would in person, so that's actually very exciting.
Totally.
Okay, guys,
we're
I'm gonna stop
so happy to
recording.
be part of the DLFF festival. So just thank you for having us.
Let me stop it, but stay on, okay?
Great.